Hey YouTube, this is Racing Dan, and I'm here with my Yu-Gi-Oh! Spellcaster-Synchro deck. This is a very fun deck to use. Pretty much my casual dueling deck, but it's still quite a competitive deck. I've beaten all sorts of different decks with this, and I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. I run one Injection Fairy Lily. I love this card a lot because it's just good for beating down synchros. You pay 2,000 life points and it gains 3,000 attack, becomes a 34, and that can beat most synchros today. And it's just a good beat stick card to have. But I only run one because I don't think I need more than one. One Summoner Monk, pretty much a staple in this deck. Discard a spell card, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower from your deck. I do have a level 4 tuner in here, so it makes it for easy level 8. Three Magical Exemplar, pretty much another staple in this deck. It's pretty much like this card's like Lumina for Lightsworns. Card gets 2 spell counters on it each time a spell card is activated, and you can remove any number of spell counters to special summon a spellcaster with the same level as the number of spell counters you removed. Like I said, pretty much a staple in this deck, and yeah. 2 Flamveil Magician, the level 4 tuner for this deck. Like I said, easy to get like a Stardust out with Summoner Monk. I would say at least 2 is necessary for a deck like this. This is more of a synchro deck, so very nice card to have. 2 Knight's End Sorcerer, works great in combination with Magical Exemplar. When it's special summoned, I get to remove from play 2 monsters from my opponent's graveyard, so it's kind of like an anti-meta card. So in that sense, it's very good. It's a level 2, so easy to get level 6s out. And my last tuner in the deck is Blackwing Gale Orlin, just because it's a really freaking good tuner. 2 Cyber Dragon. I really like this card in this deck. I know it's not a spellcaster, and I know like a card like the Tricky is. I don't like losing that extra card for the Tricky, but at the same time I still like to have the special summoning power of Cyber Dragon on my side. It allows me just an extra monster on the field, more field presence. Three Breaker the Magical Warrior. I would say at least 3 now, just because of the fact that Heavy Storm got banned. Gets a spell counter when it's normal summoned. Remove that counter to blow up a back row. You're able to just blow up your opponent's Mirror Force, Torrential, if he doesn't feel like using it. Makes him waste a Bottomless on something like a Breaker instead of like a more higher powered monster. Just a really good card. 2 Apprentice Magician. This card helps search through the deck to get out a level 2 or lower spellcaster monster in defense mode. Works great with Knight's End Sorcerer in the sense that you can get your tuner out. You just got to make sure your opponent isn't about to blow it up at the time you special summon it. But it still works good for Knight's End. 2 Old Vindictive, flip effect, you get to blow up a monster. Pretty much this is my favorite card to get with Apprentice Magician. I mean, pretty self-explanatory on Old Vindictive. 1 Crystal Seer, draw power for the deck, you flip it. Pick up 2 cards, 1 goes to your hand, 1 goes to the bottom of your deck. And finally, Sangan. Pretty self-explanatory on this one. Pretty much another searcher. Gets out Summoner Monk, Fairy, Lily, you name it. Blackwing, Gale, Whirlwind. Just a pretty damn good card for this deck. And onto my spells. For starters, I run 2 Citadel of Endymion. Gets a spell counter whenever a spell card is activated. If your opponent activates a card like MST, pretty much useless, because I get to remove a spell counter from it to pretty much stop it from getting destroyed. Works great in combination with Exemplar or even Breaker, because I get to blow up multiple back row in the same turn. So pretty much a staple in this deck. Terraforming to search it out. 1 Monster Reborn, pretty much a staple in any deck now that it's unbanned. You get to reborn a monster, pretty self-explanatory on that one. Mind Control. With Brain Control banned, I'm considering this a staple for this deck. It is a Synchro deck. So using Mind Control to take your opponent's monster and syncing up is very, very useful. 1 Book of Moon, just to mess around with my opponent's monsters, mainly the Synchro stuff. I would like to run 2. Right now I'm having a debate between running 2 Book of Moon or 2 Shrink. If you have suggestions for me on that one, please let me know. And here are the 2 Shrink. I love this card for blowing up like higher powered monsters. This deck doesn't have a ton of power. I like seeing my opponent get a Stardust out attacking one of my monsters, and I shrink Stardust, and I'm like, haha, you have no more Stardust now. So that's why I like Shrink a lot. 1 Dark Hole got unbanned. Pretty much a really freaking good card. Just a staple now. 2 Smashing Ground, just more stuff to blow up my opponent, gets spell counters, just nice to have. 2 MST, now that it's semi-limited and Heavy Storm got banned, you gotta run 2 MST now. Burden of the Mighty, I love this card in this deck. I know this deck doesn't have a lot of power, so I run Burden of the Mighty just to kind of slow my opponent down a lot. And this card has won me a lot of duels in the past. And I like to run this over Solidarity, because I have a lot of situations where I'll end up with like Stardust in my graveyard, and it kind of negates the effect of Solidarity. I just like Burden a lot. And 1 Swords, just because of the fact that it's just a good spell card. Sometimes I'll find myself in a situation where I need to stall. I can get counters with it. Just a good card to have in a Spellcaster deck. And onto the trap card section. Only run 5 traps. 2 Bottomless. 1 Mirror Force. 1 Threatening Roar. And finally, Torrential Tribute. That was my Spellcaster deck. I'd really appreciate any comments to help make this deck better. Any advice on changes I could make to make it any better would be greatly appreciated. And thank you very much.